For the first time in 499 days, the Lakers, they defeated the Denver Nuggets, snapping what was an 11-game losing streak and avoiding a series sweep. 4 of the 5 Lakers starters scored at least 20 points, led by, of course, LeBron James. 30 points, by the way. 19 30-point performances are the most ever by a player in an elimination game. And, of course, Anthony Davis, also monster 25-point, 23-rebound performance. But speaking of trying to avoid sweeps, the Suns. The Timberwolves are up 3-0. Phoenix looks to avoid being swept in a best-of-7 series for the first time since the 1989 Conference Finals. I cannot say this enough. This was not a team that was built to lose in the first round of the playoffs, Mr. Wilbon, let alone not win a single game. What would a sweep mean for this franchise?
No, but it was built to do that. This proves again, you can't throw together big names, and this big three, you know, of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal has been anything but that. They are not big enough. They don't have a roster. It's fatally flawed, the roster, with not having a game managing person to control that team and organize it. Oh, you call it point guard, most of the history of the NBA. I don't care how big the names are. I don't care how many rings or Hall of Fame. They're inadequate. And Minnesota is just better in every conceivable way than the Suns. And you know what? They can't run it back with this team, Malika. They just can't.
Well, but they may have to. That is the thing. They are hamstrung with this.
Oh, they're not hamstrung with trades.
They are hamstrung with this roster. This is why we have Adrian Wojnarowski here on the desk, because usually in times like this, when you can't largely make a obvious roster move, there's someone that you turn to, potentially a fall guy in all of this. What is Frank Vogel's future in Phoenix?
Yeah, and despite all the roster limitations that Mike just described, it's increasing belief around the league that Frank Vogel's job is in peril. If this team loses, especially as abruptly as they might in a sweep, as dispirited as they looked in Game 3, when you have this kind of a payroll, these kinds of expectations, you've got to not only show more in the first round. You got to get out of the first round. Losing in 6 last year to Denver in the second round cost Monty Williams his job. You've seen Matt Ishbia, the owner. He has made rapid change in his short tenure as owner. Frank Vogel's job very much may be in jeopardy now.
Respectfully, he will deserve it if they go out the way they have looked, number one. And number two, remember, he was never their first choice. They had interest in others, particularly Ty Lue. They just weren't available, so they settled on Frank Vogel.
It's interesting that the Timberwolves, though, they lost to the Suns every time in the regular season. And now they have turned it all the way up, and they are on the verge of eliminating them in a sweep.